Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel that is QCool. My name is Anjali Mishra. Students, this video is going to be all about solving questions which are there in the first chapter of class 9th science book that is about matter in our surrounding. So let's just start with the question number 1 which is there in page number 3. So students, the first question says that which of the following are matter? Options are we have chair, we have air, love, smell, hate, almonds, thought, cold, lemon, water, smell of perfume. So here we will say that out of these many options, chair is a matter, air is a matter, almonds यानी कि बादाम is a matter and lemon water is a matter. Water is a matter and then smell of perfume is also matter. But क्या क्या matter नहीं है? Love, smell, hate, thought and cold. Students, ये सारी feelings हैं. They can't be categorized as matter. सिर्फ हम कहेंगे चेयर है, एयर है, आलमंड्स हैं, लेमन है, वाटर है, स्मेल ऑफ परफ्यूम, ये सारी चीजें आर एग्जाम्पल्स ऑफ मैटर. मूविंग ऑन टू द क्वेश्चन नंबर 2. बच्चों क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 कहता है गिव रीजन फॉर द फॉलोइंग ऑब्जर्वेशन. The smell of hot sizzling food reaches you several meters away. But to get the smell from the cold food, we have to go close to it. So solution में हम क्या लिखेंगे? That the particles in the air, if fueled with high temperature, they acquire high kinetic energy and then they move fast over a stretch. Hence, the smell of hot sizzling food reaches a person even at a distance of several meters. सिंपल शब्दों में अगर बात करें स्टूडेंट्स, तो जो भी गर्म खाना होता है उसकी स्मेल हमारे तक इजीली और जल्दी आ जाती है एज कंपेयर टू दैट ऑफ कोल्ड फूड, क्योंकि जब खाना गर्म होता है तो जो एयर में पार्टिकल्स होते हैं दे गेट मोर एनर्जी, दैट मीन्स मोर काइनेटिक एनर्जी, और काइनेटिक एनर्जी ज्यादा हुई दैट मीन्स वो इजीली मूव कर सकते हैं. सो दैट इज हाउ वी कैन स्मेल हॉट फूड एज कंपेयर टू दैट ऑफ द कोल्ड वंस. तो आंसर में लिखेंगे हम that the particles in the air, if fueled with higher temperature, acquire high kinetic energy. To move fast over a stretch. Full stop. Hence, the smell of hot sizzling food reaches a person even at a distance of several meters. Moving on to the question number 3. Students, question number 3 says that a diver is able to cut through water in a swimming pool. Which property of water matter does this observation show? So, हम कहेंगे students that the diver is able to cut easily cut through the water in the swimming pool because there is weak force of attraction between the water molecules. It's this property of water which attributes to easy diving. जब भी लोग तैरते हैं या डाइव करते हैं वो easily मूव इन कर जाते हैं इन वाटर. रीजन बिहाइंड दैट इज जो वाटर मॉलिक्यूल्स होते हैं स्टूडेंट्स आपने पढ़ा होगा लिक्विड की प्रॉपर्टीज में that they have some gap in between them and because of this they share weak force of attraction between the particles. So this is mainly because of this weak force of attraction why these particles, like why the diver can easily go through the water in the swimming pool. So आइए इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर हम लिखते हैं. We'll write it by saying that the diver is able to easily cut through the water in the swimming pool because of the weak force of attraction or weak forces of attraction between water molecules. Moving on to the next question. Students, the question says that what are the characteristics of the particles of matter? So we'll answer this question by saying that there are 3 extremely important properties or characteristics of matter and they are number 1 presence of intermolecular spaces between the particles. Particles are in constant motion and the last property is they attract each other. सो स्टूडेंट पहली प्रॉपर्टी कहती है दैट ये जो मैटर के पार्टिकल्स हैं इनके बीच में there will be some amount of space. Number two, these particles of matter will be constantly moving, यानी वो लगातार move करेंगे, and then these particles attract each other. So students, इसके साथ ही we have covered all the properties or all the characteristics of particles which are there in the matter. Now we are going to cover questions which are there in page number 6. So starting with the question number 1, question says the mass per unit volume of a substance is called density. That means density can be defined by mass over volume. Arrange the following in the order of increasing density. And the options are air, exhaust from chimney, honey, water, chalk, cotton, and iron. So we will say that the following are in the increasing order of their density. 1 second. इसको मैं rub off कर देती हूँ. First one would be the air. Second one would be exhaust from chimney. Next one is cotton, honey, chalk, and iron. So we have arranged these materials on the basis of their increasing order of density. Moving on to the next question. The question says, answer the following. Number 1, tabulate the differences between characteristics of matter. Number 2, comment upon the following about their rigidity, about their compressibility, fluidity, filling a gas container, shape, kinetic energy, and the density. So let's just make a list of solid, liquid, and gas. Solid will have a fixed shape. Liquid, no fixed shape. Gases, no fixed shape. Solid have a fixed volume. Liquids also have a fixed volume, but gases have no fixed volume. Talking about intermolecular force, it's maximum in liquids. Maximum force of attraction will be there. Liquids less than solids, and gas less than liquids. Next property is okay. So this is how you people can differentiate between solid, liquid, and gases. Now let's talk about rigidity, compressibility, fluidity, filling the gas container, shape, kinetic energy, and the density. So let's talk about rigidity. So for rigidity, we'll say it's the property of a matter to continue to remain in shape when it is treated with an external force. So we can write it as it's the ability to continue to remain in shape when treated with an external force. Next definition is of compressibility, like whether we can compress the material or not. So we will say that it's the attribute of the particle to contract its molecular space when exposed to an external force, thereby escalating its density. So we'll say it is the attribute of the particles to contract its intermolecular space when exposed to an external force. Next one is the fluidity. Fluidity. So we will define fluidity by saying that it's the ability of a substance to flow or move about freely. So we can write it as ability of a substance to flow. So these were the first three terms. After fluidity, we have to define shape. So shape can be defined by saying it's actually the D1. It's the definite structure of an object with an external boundary. So we'll write it as it is the definite structure of an object within an external boundary. E is like the kinetic energy. अब स्टूडेंट्स आप लोगों को पता होना चाहिए that kinetic energy is all about ability to move from one place to another. So we'll say it's the motion that allow particles to possess energy. Motion allows particles to possess energy. Now the last one is density. So density can easily be defined by saying it's the mass per unit volume. It's the mass per unit volume of a substance. So with this, students, we have covered around 7 different definitions Moving on to the next question, that is question number 3. Students, the question has 4 parts, and every time we have to give reason for the statement. So, question number 1 is, give reason. A gas fills completely the vessel in which it is kept. Reason behind that is because there will be low force of attraction between gaseous particles. Therefore, the particles in the filled vessel are free to move about it. So we'll write it here as there is a low force of attraction between gas particles. Question number 2 is, a gas exerts pressure on the wall of the container. So we'll say that gaseous particles have the weakest attraction force. They're always moving in a haphazard manner. When gas particles collide with the container, so write it as, since gas particles are free to move when they collide with the walls, it exerts force. And thus pressure on the wall. Moving on to the third part of the question, it says a wooden table should called be a solid. So we'll say that a wooden table can be called a solid because there is a distinct contour and the volume of the hard table. The wood particles are tightly packed, they do not conform to the container shape. As a result, the solid features of a hardwood table are satisfied. So, our statement should be, there is a distinct contour and volume to the hardwood table. Last question is, we can easily move our hand in the air but not the same through a solid block of wood. We need a karate expert. Reason behind that is pretty similar to what we have learnt in the third and the second question. We'll say the boundaries in air particles are quite loose. So here you can write it as boundaries in air particles are loose. They are a long way apart and have a lot of space in between them. So that is how it's easy for us to move our hand freely in the air. Whereas if we talk about solids, they'll have fixed shape and volume. So for that, we need a karate expert. Moving on to the fourth question of page number 6. Student, the fourth question says, liquids generally have low density than solid, but you must have observed that ice floats on water. Reason behind that is the volume of liquid is more than volume of solid, because liquid particles are more free to move. But if we talk about ice, maximum density, here we can write it as maximum density of water is at 4 degrees Celsius. Ice is lighter than water. And has a low density. So, as a result, even though it's a solid, it floats on water. So, this was about all the questions which are there in the exercise part. Now, we will be doing questions which are there in page number 9. So, बच्चों in page number 9, पहला question कहता है that convert the following temperature to Celsius scale. First one is 300 Kelvin and the second one is 573 Kelvin. So, for first answer, we'll write it as 0 degrees Celsius is equal to 273 Kelvin. So here we have 300 Kelvin, which would be like 300 minus 273 equals 27 degree Celsius. Second question की बात करें, so that would be like 573 minus 273 Kelvin. So this would be around 300 degrees Celsius. So that is how we can convert any value given in Kelvin to degrees Celsius. Next question is, what is the physical state of water at 250 degrees Celsius? So we'll say at 200 degrees Celsius, water will be in gaseous state. Because 250 degrees Celsius means it's beyond the boiling point of water. Talking about the next segment, which is like 100 degrees Celsius, here we'll say it's the transition state. As water boils at this temperature, so we can say it would be present in both liquid and gaseous state. Moving on to question number 3. Students, question number 3 here says that for any substance, why does the temperature remain constant during the change of state? So we'll say it's because of latent heat. We'll write this answer by saying it's due to the latent heat, as the heat supplied to increase the temperature of the substance is used to transform the state of matter of the substance. Hence, the temperature remains constant. यानी कि जब भी स्टूडेंट्स हमें एक मटेरियल का स्टेट चेंज करना होता है, फॉर एग्जांपल फ्रॉम सॉलिड स्टेट टू अ लिक्विड स्टेट, या फिर अगर हम बात करें अगर हम किसी मटेरियल को हीट करते हैं, तो वो मटेरियल क्या करता है, उस हीट एनर्जी को यूज करता है अपने स्टेट को चेंज करने के लिए. तो क्योंकि ये जो टेम्परेचर है या ये जो हीट है ये हिडन रहती है, सो वी कॉल इट एज latent heat. And that is how the temperature remains constant during the change of state. Moving on to the last question of page number 9. Student, the question says, suggest a method to liquefy atmospheric gases. So we'll answer this question by saying it can be achieved by increasing the pressure or by decreasing the temperature, which ultimately leads to the reduction of spaces which are there between the molecules. So students, this was all about questions which were there in question number 9. Now we are going to cover questions which are there in page number 10. So starting with the question number 1, the question says, why does a desert cool better on a hot, dry day? So we'll say that it's because the temperature is high and it is less humid on a hot day, hot, dry day, which enables better evaporation. High levels of this evaporation provides better cooling effect. Moving on to question number 2, it's like, how does the water kept in an earthen pot, that means matka, become cool during summer? So we'll answer this question by saying an earthen pot is porous in nature. So these tiny pores, they facilitate penetration of water. Hence, evaporation takes place from the surface of the pot. So we'll write it as an earthen pot is porous in nature. Evaporation takes place from these pores. So the process of evaporation that requires energy, which is attributed by water in the pot, as a result of which water turns cooler. Third question. Why does our palm feel cold when we put on some acetone or petrol or perfume in it? So we'll say acetone, perfume, and petrol are volatile substances. All are volatile substances. Students, volatile means whenever a substance, like whenever a volatile substance comes in contact with the air, it gets evaporated. So they all will get evaporated when they will come in contact with the air. So we'll say that evaporation is facilitated as it uses energy from the palm, hence leaving a cooling effect on the palm. Fourth question. Why are we able to sip hot tea or milk faster from a saucer rather than a cup? Reason behind that is a saucer has a larger surface area than a cup. Therefore, this will be promoting quicker evaporation. Hence, the tea or milk in a saucer cools down faster. Now we have the last question of page number 10. That is question number 5. Students, the question says, what type of clothes should we wear in summer? So we will say that in summer we should prefer wearing light colored clothes. Because light color light color reflects heat, and cotton material have pore which absorbs sweat, facilitates evaporation, and hence they will be giving a cooling effect on the skin. So students, this was all about different questions which were there from page number 3 to page number 10. In your next video, we will be doing all the questions which are there in the exercise of this chapter. Thank you.